1169 takes place this Saturday at 3 a.m. South African time from the legendary Lupini Stadium in Bangkok, Thailand. There are no less than 3 titles on the line, and we're breaking it down this time on Fighting with Friends. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fighting with Friends, the undisputed African fighting podcast, champion of the world. Speaking of champions, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me today the reigning, defending, undisputed vegan champion of the world. That is, of course, Brother Gaia.
I love it. That was epic.
What's happening, BG?
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We all good, bruh. Another fantastic, absolutely scintillating card on our hands here this time. It is, of course, 1169. And we, as always, are going to start at the top of the card. And here we see the main man, the only ever 3-division champion, Anatoly Malikin. And he's coming up against Rugrug Omarkhane. So Anatoly Malikin is 14-0, 6-0 in one championship. He's also 4-0 on the amateur record. This man has never lost a fight. His last fight out, he of course beat Renier Derrida by 3rd round TKO to become the first ever 3-division champion. He's coming up against Rugrug Omarkhane, who is 6-1, last fight beating Boucher Ketchup by 1st round KO in a kickboxing match, which was quite bizarre. His last MMA fight, however, he beat Marcus Almeida by unanimous decision, and there was no ducking and diving in that one for sure. So, BG, what can you tell us here, bro?
Yeah, firstly, I was very shocked to see the match being made, to be quite honest, because I watched Omarkhane for a while, and I was like, he's a fun character and everything, but I don't know if he's really going to be a title contender. And I personally feel like, and this is not throwing shade on Omarkhane, but I personally feel like he's next in line only because Anatoly Malikin wiped out the heavyweight division. He beat the best contenders in that division already, and they were like, who must he fight next? The only guy he hasn't fought next was Omarkhane, so that's why Omarkhane got the fight. However, I will give him props for his performance against Marcus Almeida. The fight against Boucher Ketchup, I don't really put too much stock into it because Ketchup looked like he was... I don't even know why he got signed by the One Championship, to be honest. It wasn't even a fight. So I won't pay too much attention to that performance, but the performance against Marcus Almeida I thought was very, very good because Marcus Almeida is a very, very high prospect, a very high contender in this division, particularly fighting out of American Top Team. And I thought he's got the best jiu-jitsu in the division, hands down. And Omarkhane took him down and was able to wrestle with him and actually survive most of the grappling exchanges. And that's what surprised me the most about Omarkhane, was that he's not just heavy-handed. He's not just a knockout specialist. Excuse me. He's not just a knockout specialist, which I thought what his main game was, but seeing him wrestle against someone of that kind of caliber of jiu-jitsu was quite impressive. Now, that being said, Anatoly Malikin is the best. When it comes to MMA, he's just by far the best in the One Championship. And you mentioned the 3-division champion. I watched him capture all 3 of those titles. And I must be honest, I don't see anyone from middleweight up until heavyweight beating Anatoly Malikin. I really don't. He's conditioned the best. He can take any one of those guys' shots. I thought Amir Aliakbari was going to be the guy to beat him, but Anatoly Malikin knocked him out. And I was like, okay, now who next? Who's going to beat this guy? Who's going to stop him, and how do you stop him? Because clearly he can take people's shots. He's got a very, very good gas tank, which I thought was his weakest attribute. But he turned that around, especially being able to fight 3 divisions. He turned that around. His boxing is second to none. His power is second to none. His aggression, his octagon control. He's one of those guys that are just, when you look at his attributes on the video game, he's just 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Everything is just 10. He's just maxed out on all his attributes. And that's just not even a joke, to be quite honest, because the record speaks for itself. He hasn't lost a fight, and he's fought really, very good contenders at strikers, grapplers. Let me just put this out there. Beating someone like Renier Derrida is no joke, because Derrida was also 2-division champion and a grappling champion, and he was also just finishing people left, right, and center. So for Malikin to do what he did to RDR speaks volumes for about what Malikin's caliber is like. So coming into this fight, as much as I would like to see Omar Kane do something and shock the world and maybe even rock Malikan and make him, which I do think he does have that conscious chance in him. But just skill wise, I really don't see it, and I kind of fear for the worst for Omar Kane in this fight.
I mean, it sounds like it's a pretty foregone conclusion, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have to kind of. Is there anything that you can see for Umar Kane in this fight, bro? Like any path to victory for him at all here? What I mean, if you were in his shoes, what's he got to do to get it done here, bro?
So I honestly I don't know. If I was in his shoes, I wouldn't know because Malikan presents all kinds of problems. But I will say this: if you look at the tape of Omar Kane's fights and you watch when he does get knockouts, it's not when he's chasing an opponent or he's got an opponent in the corner and he's putting on some combos and he's putting fighters out of the defense and trapping them into situations where he can outstrike them or knock them out. How he usually gets his finishes is where opponents are rushing him down and he's usually on the back foot, throwing an overhand right or throwing a wild left hook, and he's just in that crossfire, and that's where he kind of lands on opponents and gets them rocked or gets them knocked out. And that's where I think he can get the job done, and I think that's where the fight's going to end up. Because Malikan's best work is when he's cutting fighters going backwards and he's piecing them up, body shots, single collar tie, grabbing their front hand, taking away their jab, and then throwing right straights. Malikan loves to do that, which means he likes to stay in the pocket. And that's where Omar Kane does his best work, is in the pocket. So if there is a chance for him to win, it's that way. I don't know if he can go out there and actually put on a clinic, round after round and outstriking Malikan. I really don't see him doing that. But I do see his best chance when he's getting backed up by Malikan, which is what's going to happen, I think. And you could see something wild happen in that exchange. And that's where Omar Kane's best shot's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it is the heavyweight division, so we know these folks are throwing bombs, bro. So, yeah. Brother Guy did, of course, give an extensive breakdown on both of these fighters, so be sure to check out those videos. Some really great insight there, BG. BG, any final thoughts on this one before we keep moving?
I think the last thing I'll say is that I really do hope that it's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, all the best to Umar Kane, but we are not very optimistic. But anyway, bro, let's keep it moving. And of course, now it is time. Flyweight Muay Thai World Championship, and here we are seeing the man Rodtang Juangyon since the age of 7. His Muay Thai kickboxing record: 272 wins, 43 losses, and 10 draws. He's 15-2 in the one championship. Last time out, beating Dennis Puric by unanimous decision in a kickboxing fight. Last Muay Thai fight, he lost to Superlek by unanimous decision. Superlek, of course, missing weight in that fight. Only other loss came to Mighty Mouse, and this was, of course, in an MMA fight. So yeah, crossing over there. He is coming up against Jacob Smith, who is 1-2. Last fight, he lost to Dennis Puric by unanimous decision. This, of course, is a rematch. Rodtang winning the first time by unanimous decision, quite convincingly, in fact. So, BG, does Jacob Smith have anything for the great Rodtang here, bro?
Very good question. Excited about the rematch, firstly, because I am a fan of Jacob Smith's style. Unfortunately, that lost against Dennis Puric in his last fight was just it's same style, but Puric just was more of a dog in that fight. The thing about this fight where I'm a bit concerned is beat Rodtang. It's if we really see him get knocked out, right? I see him get knocked down once, and I was fighting against Superlek with an elbow landed on him, right? And he got back up and he got back into the fight, made it very competitive. The fight against Mighty Mouse, that's a super fight, so I don't really look into that one too much. But in this one here, they have fought before, and Rodtang pretty much won every single round in that first fight. And it wasn't too long ago, actually. I think it was a year and a half ago when they first had the encounter. And Rodtang won every single position of that fight, every single round. He would won every single situation that was placed. Every deep kick he won first, every jab. Smith didn't really have anything going. And when Smith did land on him, it didn't discourage Rodtang at all, like most fighters do. So that's why I feel like, just like the main event, I like Jacob Smith's style. I think he beats anyone in the division, just not Rodtang. Just because I don't think he's got the power. I don't think he can actually stop Rodtang's forward momentum. So it's like, how do you actually beat Rodtang? He's going to have to outpoint him. He's going to have to go through 5 rounds and probably win 3 of the 5 rounds or 4 of the 5 rounds. He's going to have to move a lot more. He's going to have to stay circling and not being a stationary target. He's going to have to look to take away Rodtang's space, which no fighters really have tried to do. Take away his front leg, take away so that he can't step forward on the front leg. Force him to switch his stance, for fuck's sakes. But let him fight in southpaw the whole time. No one ever does this to him. Take away his front leg, kick to the body. Don't try and headhunt Rodtang. Just take away his stamina, kick to the stomach, hit to the stomach, so he breathes a bit heavier. So when you get to the round 3 and 4, he's going to take bigger, deeper breaths, heavier steps, but slower to react. And I think that's going to be the best chance for Jackie Smith to win this fight. Can he do exactly that? I really don't think so. Superlek was able to do it. And what Superlek did really well was that he never allowed Rodtang to be going first. Superlek went first all the time. In every situation they were in, he was like, I'm going to hit you first before you hit me. Even if it's not going to hurt you or push you back, I'm going to hit you first every single time. And I'm going to be stepping laterally. I'm going to move left. I'm going to move right. I'm going to keep circling so that we don't stay going forwards and backwards where Rodtang does his best work. Almost like Ilia Topuria, when Rodtang jabs you to the cage, tips you to the cage. And then once you're in the cage, you can expect him to put you away. Yet that's where he's really going to knock you out. And that's what he did in the first fight with Jackie Smith. He didn't knock him out, but he was able to keep Jackie Smith backwards and staying almost back to cage for that duration of that 12 minutes. So we might see a repeat of that first fight, to be quite honest. If anything changes, we might get a knockout from Rodtang. But I have a hard time seeing Jackie Smith winning, other than winning by unanimous decision or majority decision.
Nicely done, PG. So yeah, that kind of leads to my next question. If you were betting, would you say that Rodtang gets the finish here?
It's very likely. It's very likely. Jackie Smith's Jackie Smith's got good conditioning, and he does move a lot. So he never really stays in positions to get knocked out. Granted, he did get pieced up before. But Rodtang might come and put on a show here. But Rodtang has got more unanimous decisions than knockout wins. I think his finishing rate is not that high. I think he's only got 2 wins by stoppage in 15 fights. 17 fights, 2 wins by knockout. 1 win by knockout. Yeah, 1 win by TKO, 2 wins by KO. So only 3 finishes in 17 fights. So he's known for unanimous decision in fighters. He's beating people by just outclassing them. So I want to say knockout, but the record has shown more decision wins than knockout wins on Rodtang's side.
Fair point, PG. Yeah, and let us know in the comments, guys. Do you think Rodtang gets to finish this time, or does Jacob Smith have something up his sleeve for the Thai legend that is Rodtang? PG, we're going to keep it going now, and this time we're moving to a still kickboxing world championship fight, and here we are seeing third title put on the line. Here we see Dan 6-1 in the one championship, last time out beating Martin Michieletto by unanimous decision. This is her first kickboxing fight in the one championship, as far as I can see. She's very well seasoned as a Muay Thai fighter, and she's looking to cross over here to win the championship. She's coming up against Anisim Meksen, who is 3-1 in the one championship. She's coming up a weight class. Her last fight, she lost to Fedjita by unanimous decision in an atomweight kickboxing title fight over 5 rounds. So BG, who's taking the title for this one?
Beautiful introduction of the 2 fighters there. I'm a big fan of both of them. Anissa Meksen is very decorated. I mean, she's been a champion in so many organizations outside of the one championship, K1 championship. She's done boxing. She's done it all basically. Let me just move this thing out of my way. Excuse me. But that loss that you mentioned against Pachija is the only loss she took in the one championship, and Pachija is the current champion in kickboxing as it stands. And I'm not surprised at that, because Pachija is just an absolute animal. Jackie Buntan, I do think that she's got the power advantage over Anissa. I don't know if she's got the experience or the skill set, to be quite honest. Anissa has seen it all. She's been against so many different champions, and she's just decorated in different styles, well versed. And where I'm a bit concerned for Anissa in this fight is that she's coming upper weight, and where I'm concerned for Jackie Buntan is that it's fighting in heavier, bigger gloves. So it's more cushion. So is the power of Jackie Buntan gonna carry over when she fights in Muay Thai? Because in Muay Thai she put people down, and she's got so much power, and the boxing is really, really phenomenal. Especially when she does the whole thing of like sucks you in, plants her feet, and then throws a left hook even though she's an orthodox fighter, she throws a left hook when the fighter's coming in, and that left hook packs so much power. Whereas Anisa does the similar thing, but Anisa throws so many different combinations that Jackie doesn't throw. Jackie almost relies a lot on the boxing combinations rather than bringing in some knees, bringing in some clinch games. Although you can't clinch in kickboxing, maybe she brings in some more tip kicks. I don't often see her throw a lot of tip kicks, but she does have a good low kick. But that's usually to set up her hands. Whereas Anisa can set up things from different positions. She's very, very creative. So it's a very intriguing matchup between the two of them. And also, Anisa throws more frequently. She throws more frequently. She gets going more frequently than Jackie does, but Jackie does have that back of punch on her. So that's what makes it very exciting. It's a knockout power versus the speed, or the knockout power versus the creativity of Anisa. The only thing another thing I'm gonna be wary of Anisa is that she is on the other side of 35. I think she's 36 now, if I'm not mistaken. And Jackie's only 27, so obviously the youth is on Jackie's side. She can take the shots. She's conditioned really well. So I watch the fight going. I see Anisa piecing up a lot of combinations, but not really hurting Jackie. And Jackie's she's gonna have to walk through that line of fire and land her bombs. And if she does land her bombs, I can see her putting Anisa down. Maybe a very powerful body shot or a very powerful left hook. But that's only gonna happen maybe in the later rounds.
Yeah, nice, PG. So speaking of the later rounds here, if it does go, it is a championship fight. So if it does go over the course of the 5 rounds, who do you think has the better gas tank here?
Mm-hmm. I think Jackie's going to have the better gas tank. I think she's going to be conditioned enough to take the shots of Anisa to the point where it's not going to take away too much of her. I don't think Anisa's got the punching power to almost take away Jackie's stamina. So if she does, she's going to have to deep kick a lot to make that happen. But if she doesn't do that, I do think Jackie's going to be the one that's going to have the stronger stamina going into the championship rounds and possibly win it that way. I don't see any women getting a knockout here, even though I think Jackie's got the knockout power to do it. Anisa's very, very experienced. It's just hard to put her away. And either if it's going to win the fight, it's going to win it by decision.
Okay, thanks, PG. And of course, let us know in the comments. This is our 3rd title fight of the evening. So give us your picks for the 3 title fights. We'd be very interested to hear those, of course. All right, PG, let's skate now. And we're going to go to a flyweight MMA bout. And here we have Adriano Moraes. And he's coming up against Danny the Kingad. Adriano Moraes is 10-5 in the ONE Championship. Last fight that lost to Mighty Mouse by unanimous decision. But he, of course, also famously has KO'd Mighty Mouse at ONE on TNT 1. So definitely nothing to play with here. He's coming up against the Kingad, who is 11-4 in the ONE Championship. Last fight lost to Yuya Wakamatsu by unanimous decision. So BG, Adriano Moraes, obviously a very creative and decorated striker. You see him walking away with the W, or does Danny have something for him? What are your thoughts here, bro?
Again, this is a rematch. This fight, so they're fighting for the 2nd time here, and Adriano Moraes tapped out Danny Kingad in the 1st round when they met up the 1st time, and that was pretty early in both of their careers in the ONE Championship. Since then, Moraes just went on to superstardom, became the king of the division, beat who's who until Mighty Mouse beat Adriano Moraes. Was Danny Kingad was trying to find his feet. He went on a 2-5 win streak and then lost against what's his name, Yuya Wakamatsu, who was also a very good fighter. I mean, he fought against Mighty Mouse as well. So I think he fought Yuya Wakamatsu, and then he fought against Danny Kingad now. His last fight, who did he fight his last fight? Echo Rani. That was his last fight, and that was a very, very good fight, back and forth between the two guys. And Danny Kingad showed his striking started evolved really well. He knew how to put his hands onto opponents now, utilizing more kicks, not just overtly relying on his wrestling. Because Adriano Moraes is super creative, as you alluded to. He's got very, very good jiu-jitsu, and also his striking is very. The dude is slick, man. I mean, not anyone can just put out Mighty Mouse, and he's able to do that. So in the first fight, he completely wiped out Danny. So what I'm keen to see in this fight is what's Danny going to do to change that. Because Adriano, apart from Mighty Mouse, was almost unbeatable in the ONE Championship. Like, no one could take this guy out. So I'm keen to see what Danny's going to do. The only thing I'm worried about in terms of the fight for Adriano is that he's also like Anissa Mixon. He's on the other side of 35. I think he's 36 years old now as well. So, I think he only has a couple of more fights next, maybe just another year and a half left in him. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Danny's able to knock him out. Because Adriano is, like I say, he's a bit older, and Danny's got knockout power. But I would give the skill set and also just the octagon geography and just how to win the fight to Adriano Moraes. And I'm going to lean in towards Adriano Moraes to put on a show in this fight. Just also because he has beaten Danny before, so he knows how. You know what I mean? He knows how to take him down. He knows how to outbox him. He has the skill set to do it. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to do it again.
Nicely done, BG. I myself I'm of course going with
Brazil.
Here we go.
Adriano.
I don't know why the pick took so long to come out, but anyway, always riding with Brazil. And of course, let us know in the comments, does Adriano Moraes have enough to get it done on the other side of 30, as BG mentioned here? All right, BG, let's keep moving there. And here we have another flyweight Muay Thai bout, and we see Kongtho Somai. He's coming up against Tajir Khalilov. Kongtho Thani is 8-2. His last fight, he lost to Super Leg by unanimous decision. Coming up against Tagir Khalilov, who is 3-4 in the One Championship. Last fight lost to Nakrob by first round KO. So who's walking away with this one, BG?
Kongtho Thani, obviously, bro. He is the dog of dogs. He's the other left meteorite in this division, just not bantamweight, it's flyweight. But they're very similar style to the left meteorite. I don't see this fight playing out. Firstly, he's a, how do you say, Tajir Khalilov? Very good fighter. Very, very good fighter. It's just unfortunate that his losses has come against the who's who. You know what I mean? Like Pet, Super Leg, Black Panther. You know what I mean? Dennis Purich, Dang. These are all all dogs that has beaten him. You know what I mean? But he's very skillful and he's tall for the division. He's got a lot of length over most of these guys. So I'm looking to see if he's going to use his reach really well and maybe start working from off his jab. Because if he does that, I think he can definitely beat Kongtho Thani if he does that. But if he gets caught into a barn burner kind of fight style and, exchanging leg kicks and elbows and clinch work, I don't think he's going to get the job done here because Kongtho Thani is absolutely insane. And also, the Source My Gym, they work around clinch work. Like, that's what they're famous for, is their clinch work. So, Tajir is going to be very, very careful when staying in the pocket for too long because that's when Kongtho Thani is going to get him down. Because, again, Kongtho Thani he's a shorter fighter. He's got the lesser of the reach here. So, he's going to want to stay in the pocket. Whereas Tajir is going to have to stay on the outside, pepper that jab, throw a low kick, pepper that jab, maybe even a switch kick, and just keep fighting on that distance and not allow Kongtho Thani to close it and stay in the pocket. Because Kongtho Thani isn't the kind of fighter that's gonna rush you down and then stay in front of you and then keep the pace there. He's not that kind of fighter. He's a very measured kind of striker. He's like Kulabdam. They're very measured. They take their time with you. They throw a hard kick and they take their time and then jab again and throw another hard kick. And when they only in the second round is when you start seeing them ramping up and increasing the volume, which then may play in Tajir Khalilov's favor. But I'm going to go with Kongtho Thani. I'm high on this fighter, man. I've watched his debut. I followed him when he started. I watched when he got the contact against Zhao Shiyai. When he beat Zhao Shiyai, he got the contact. And I was like, nah, this is my guy. I think he got Super Leg a bit too soon. I think actually way too soon. But I think beating Tajir is going to be a good stamp on his name, and then he can go up and maybe challenge Dennis Purich, pull out someone big again, But this is definitely a fantastic fight, one of the big ones to watch on this fight card.
Okay, thanks, BG. How do you think he gets it done here, bro? Is he going to do it over 3 rounds, or can you see him getting a finish?
The funny thing is, I can see both options being very possible. The most likely one's going to be probably 3-round decision. Like Kongtho Thani can knock you out, man. He's done it before, and he's a powerful striker. So I can see it happening. I can really see it happening. It's split for me. Either options you can be there because you can expect Kongtho Thani to push the pace in second round and maybe look to finish in that second round. If he doesn't get it, you can definitely see him just outmaster class Tajir for the third round and get it done by unanimous decision.
All right, looking forward to it, BG. Looking forward to it. Another fight that I am very much looking forward to is this one. Fascinating fight here. We see Kade Tola, the undefeated lightweight grappling submission champion, crossing over to MMA for the second time. in his one championship career. Last fight in MMA, he won against Blake Cooper by first round sub, and he's coming up against Ahmed Mujtaba, who is 4-4 in the one championship. Last fight lost to Halil Amir by second round TKO. And I watched Cade's other fight in MMA, bruh, and I just before you get into the more detailed analysis, I just want to kind of get your thoughts on Cade on the feet, bruh. What are your thoughts there? How good did he look in his crossover fight? I mean, he did get it done by sub, but I saw that the first round they did spend quite some time on the feet. He was throwing some nice body kicks. So yeah, from a more detailed perspective, BG, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because I wasn't impressed with it, but I was also expecting that. You know what I mean? I mean, the Toto's 21 years old, and all he's been doing is grappling his whole entire life. So to see him transition into MMA and he fought against Blake Cooper and won by submission, uh, he had no choice but to do that. I thought he was going to get outstruck on the feet, and he was striking, but he looked very sloppy. I mean, he was trying to jab, but he bottomed the jab, but it was like I've never seen someone so clueless when it comes to the striking department, and that's not his fault. I mean, he just spent his whole life being a jiu-jitsu practitioner, so it makes sense. Um, I'm intrigued by the fact that he's doing the transition into MMA. I'm not surprised that he's doing it because it's like they keep feeding him these guys in grappling, and he's wiping them all out. And it's also some of the guys he has fought already, so it's like you know what I mean. There's no one really new in the grappling roster for him to compete. That's why I would have loved to have seen him go against Mikey Musumeci. That would have been so insane. Unfortunately, obviously, it didn't happen. But coming back to the MMA world, he's going to have to spend almost most of his camp, 90% of his camp is going to have to be spending around striking. Because obviously, when it comes to the grappling, no one can really take him out. I haven't seen anyone really beat him. So spend most of your time in striking, making sure that he can be competent in boxing at least. Doesn't have to throw in so many kicks just yet. Just learn how to use your hands properly and use your hands that allows him to set up his grappling. You know what I mean? Like the way Matt Hughes used to do it, and Matt Sader as well. You know, use your hands to set up your grappling because every time this guy, I say every time, he only fought once. But what it does to me is I get nervous for him because it's like you fight an MMA guy. It's not just grappling now. These guys can knock you out. You know what I mean? And Blake Cooper was starting to win the exchanges, and up until the point where Cade was like, "Listen, I'm going to take this guy down rather than just submit him because, you know, he's a fish out of water when it comes to the striking department." So, what I'm keen to see now in this fight is Ahmad, what's his name? Ahmad Mujtaba. Good grappler, very strong top game. I don't know if he's going to try and grapple Cade Ruotolo because if he does, I don't think he's going to get the job done there. He's going to have to obviously stay standing. But Ahmad isn't really a good striker either. He's got the overhand right. He's got a strong overhand right. But apart from that, he's not putting together boxing combinations. He's not moving fighters around by low kicking them and then jabbing them and putting them into the phone booth. He's not doing anything like that. He's just looking to back up, and then throw overhand right, grab you, and then beat you by out grappling you. But I don't think he can do that against Cade Ruotolo, especially because Cade Ruotolo is going to be much taller, much younger, stronger in the grappling exchanges. So what's going to happen here is we're going to see them standing in the first couple of minutes of the first round. Cade's going to realize that he can't do that for too long because he might get knocked out by Ahmed. He's going to shoot for the takedown, and obviously he's going to out-grapple Ahmed over there and get the job done again by submission.
Quite definitive there, BG. Is there any way that Ahmed gets this done?
Yes, I think he can get it done. I think if he even makes it a bit of a scrap, make it a dog fight. Don't try and initiate takedowns. Don't try and initiate any sort of clinch works. If you are in a clinch, single collar tie and uppercut the hell out of Cade Ruotolo. Keep boxing him. Stay in the boxing range. Force it into the feet. And every time Cade tries to shoot on him, sprawl for your life. You hit the wizard. Get out of there. Circle. Take the center of the octagon. And then get back to boxing combinations. I do think he can knock Cade out.
Excellent insight there, BG. Give thanks. And of course, guys, let us know in the comments your thoughts here. Does Cade Ruotolo get it done crossing over into MMA? Anyway, BG, we keep it skating now. And it just seems to be banger after banger. And here we come into a strawweight kickboxing bout where we have the legend, the 41-year-old Sam A, professional Muay Thai record, 366 wins. 46 losses and 9 draws. He's 8-3 in the one championship, retired, unretired, back again, and his last fight, knocked out Akram Hamidi in the first round. I took my eyes off that for 1 second and it was over. And he's coming up
Yeah.
against the fighting rooster here, Zhang Paiman, 21 years old, 4-2 in the one championship. Last fight beat Alif Saw Dekpan by unanimous decision. So it seems to be experience against youth here, BG, the age-old
Yes, sir.
tale. So what do you think, bro? Is it going to be another dub for Sam A? Or does the fighting rooster have anything for him here, bro?
You know, Adina, in first glance, I was like, Sam A might just go there and outclass Zhang. But Zhang, if you don't know, this dude was one win away from being a champion. He lost against Jonathan. Yeah, he lost against Jonathan Diabella by unanimous decision, and that was a title fight. And I was like, oh. But up until that fight, I was watching Zhang Paimian, and I was like, this dude is very, very good. The fighting rooster, he's got hard low kicks, but his hands are so quick. The way he's like John Lineker, but not as powerful. Very similar style, very, very similar style, but doesn't have the same kind of power. However, in the strawweight division, it does translate. He does knock people down. Doesn't have that many finishes to his name, but he does have it to knock people down. Fighting against Sam is going to be slightly shorter, slightly less reach, but has got by far the most more experience than Zhang. Obviously, he's got more finishes, got more fights, has got more titles, so he's seen everything that Zhang's going to throw at him. However, one is 41 and the other one's 21. Is that going to be the big deciding factor in this fight? I do think both fighters can knock each other out. Zhang has shown me that he's got very good durability because he's fought against very good fighters and he's taken a lot of damage but hasn't really been knocked out. So he's conditioned really well. But I don't know if he's going to be able to outlast Sam because Sam is very creative. He's got the ability to go any amount of rounds. It's not a title fight; it's only 3 rounds. So Zhang's obviously going to go in hard round 1, round 2. They are fighting kickboxing, so it is the bigger gloves. So is Sam A's power going to be the same thing with the bigger gloves? We don't know. I don't know if Sam A is going to have the power to knock Zhang out, but Zhang does have the power to knock Sam A out. But Sam A's got the skill set to outpoint Zhang for the duration of the fight. So let's see how it goes. For me, it's hard to choose a winner here because both fighters stack up really, really well. If Sam A was maybe 5 years younger, I would have gone Sam A all the way. But just because he's 41, I don't know. I'm a bit worried about this fight for him.
Fair point, BG. Myself, I'm going to ride with Sam A into the sunset to the very end. So I'm going to go with Sam.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I think he's going to finish him as well just because he finished Akram Hamidi in such devastating fashion. Akram Hamidi also only 25 years old, bruh, so it's just proof that Sam A still got something for these young Thundercats, bruh. But yeah, that's a fair point as well.
Yeah,
fair point. But I still got him to get it done. Head kick, knockout. Let's go, Sam A. Okay, bro. Very much looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But like I said, yeah, banger after banger. In the next fight, we go to a heavyweight MMA bout. And here we see Marcus Almeida, who was previously mentioned on the card, Buchecha, and he's coming up against Amir Ali Akbari. So Marcus Almeida is 4-1, last time out losing to the aforementioned Rug by unanimous decision. BG, of course, broke that fight down. So if you'd like some detailed analysis, be sure to check that video out. And he's coming up here against Amir Ali Akbari, who is 4-2, last time out, winning by disqualification against Arjan Bula in a very bizarre fight, to say the least. I think we were talking about that one before we went on air, BG. But anyway, BG, what do you think here? Is it going to be one for Brazil, or does Ali Akbari have something for him here?
This is a very interesting fight, because Marcus Almeida is not necessarily the best striker. He's not going to go in there and just outbox you. Obviously, his best attribute is jiu-jitsu prowess, like to put you down, submit you, make sure he taps you out, and he's done that for most of his fights. He's got 3 wins by submission out of the 4 wins he has in the one championship. So he knows where his game is at. However, I do think Amir Ali Akbari's Greco-Roman wrestling is powerful. And it's almost not spoken about so much because of his persona and like the way he's knocking people down and his stature so heavy. He's literally like the live action Zangief, if you think about it. And however, I want to highlight his wrestling because I do think that Marcus Almeida is going to struggle to actually get Amir Ali Akbari down. And if he struggles to get Amir down, they're going to be forced to stand. And if they're forced to stand, I think Amir's going to have the better boxing here and it's probably going to knock him out, probably get the job done. Probably first round knockout. If that doesn't happen, why I'm saying this is because I'm starting to see Marcus outstrike Amir. And Marcus has to get the fight to the ground to win because that's what he's best at. But can he actually outgrapple Amir? Amir very rarely gets taken down. Even Anthony Malikan didn't have to take him down. Malikan just knocked him out instead. He's like, I'm not going to wrestle with this, bro. I'm going to knock him out instead because his wrestling is very, very good. Amir's wrestling is it's one of the things that people don't even try to go and take him down because I know is you're just not going to get it right. He's just going to reverse you. He's very powerful. He's massive for the division. I do think they're similar in height. If I'm not mistaken, I do think they're actually almost on par in terms of size and height because Marcus Amir is very tall. But I'm going to have to go with Amir Al Akbari here. I do think that his Greco-Roman wrestling is very powerful because of his defensive style. And I do think his hands are a bit nicer, a bit slicker than Marcus Almeida. But, in the CPS reports, we don't bet against Brazil. So I wouldn't be surprised if you and Jedi go for Brazil. But I'm going to have to go with Al Akbari on this one.
Yeah, I mean, yes, fair point, PG. We do very rarely get bet against Brazil. But yeah, unfortunately, and this is just based on what I saw in the fight against Rugrug. Rugrug is not the best wrestler in the world, and he was more than holding his own against Marcus Almeida. We're going to come up against a guy like Amir, and he's such a good wrestler. Unfortunately, I don't see any positive outcomes for Almeida. I mean, maybe he knocks him down, gets him to the ground, and jumps on his back or something like that,
Yeah.
But again, yeah, it's going to be a very tough night for Marcus Almeida. But yeah, never bet against Brazil. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't see it going down this time. And yeah, just confirm both fighters are 6'3", so no height advantage for either man there.
There you go.
All right, BG, any final thoughts on this one before we keep it going?
It's a very exciting fight, and it is also a title eliminator, by the way. So whoever wins is going to be next in line. I do think Marcus Almeida's got the longer reach, so that might be super exciting.
Absolutely, BG, very excited for this one. All right, so let's keep it moving then. And here we go to a featherweight Muay Thai bout where we see Eddie Silky Smooth Abasolo coming up against Muhammad Yunus Iraba. Eddie Abasolo is 1-3 in the One Championship. Last fight lost to Luke Lesai by split decision. Muhammad Yunus Iraba is 1-1. Last fight lost to Saimapek by first round KO. So, BG, how does this one play out, bro?
Look, this is also a good fight. It's very exciting fighters. They both push the pace really well. Both of them are high volume kind of strikers. I do give the power advantage to Eddie, but I do give the creativity to Muhammad. Muhammad only fought 2 fights in the One Championship. Both fights were against the same opponent, Saimapek. He fought Saimapek twice. So there's more footage to take away from Eddie. Eddie fought against really good names as well. So because they're both similar and they both got the styles are very, very almost identical. It comes down to who's going to be the one to almost navigate the fight best. Who's got the best game plan going forward here. I think Muhammad is going to try to throw very hard leg kicks and low kicks, and then probably use a lot of fast jabs, fast handwork to get the fight going in his favor. But he must be careful when he gets in close in the pocket because Eddie has got a very, very good strong body kick as well as an overhand right. So that's a very good fight for me, very good matchup. And what I like about this fight card is that no one's fighting at catchweight. I find that quite amazing. So what you can expect is this is going to be ranked fights for sure. People are going to be climbing the divisions here. So very, very excited about this fight for sure because it's going to put whoever wins this fight is going to put themselves in a good stamp in the featherweight division.
Yeah, BG, hype for this one, hype for this card in general. We do have 2 other fights on the card. Anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up here, BG, on these 2 fights?
I was surprised by the Ayaka Miura fight. She wasn't on the card at all, but now she's in the card. I think there was a change in fight card there, so I thought that was nice to see because Ayaka Miura she's a killer, dude. the absolute beast. Macarena Aragon, this is a debut in the One Championship, so keen to see what she's going to bring up. An amazing opponent to go up against for your first fight in the One Championship. If she can beat Ayaka, that's a massive stamp and a massive statement win on her part. The opening bout is also, that's going to be a barn burner because both those fighters like to push the pace. Alif So Dachapan is a tall guy, very lanky, very long reach, good creativity, fights from both stances. Walter, unfortunately, his One Championship career hasn't been the best in terms of the amount of losses he has taken, but he has also fought really good fighters, very good and fantastic names, but also pacey, strong, heavy hands, but uber pace on his side. So that fight's going to be dust bunnies all around, just dust bunnies all around. So excited for that fight card as well. For that opening bout, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely stacked from top to bottom, BG. But yeah, that pretty much covers it from us, BG. So just to let you guys know that we are planning to do a live stream for this event, and that will be starting at about 2 a.m. South African time. So please keep a lookout for that one. We also have reached 700 subscribers. So thank you all very much for your support. We are very happy to keep bringing these events to you. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have made it this far and you haven't done so yet, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. But other than that, enjoy the fights, everybody. It does start at 3 a.m. South African time. That is Saturday morning this time. So be sure to set your alarms. Ladies and gentlemen, from myself, BG, all of us here at the CPS Reports, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the fights, and we'll see you back here for the recap on Fighting with Friends.